हम शायर थे, मुतज़ाद तसव्वुरात के बानी, अरवा के राज़े ज़िंदगी के मुतलाशी, और आके हस्ती पे लहू तहरीर करने वाले, गुमान और यकीन के मोजज़ों पर हंसने वाले, अकूबत और उनसियत के दरमियाँ सुलगते, हम शायर थे। टूटे बेमायनी अधूरे फ़िक्रे ईंधन बनाए, शब की तारीकी को आग बनाकर सेंकने वाले, मोहब्बत और ज़िंदगी की जंग में वारफ्तगी और आरज़ू की खातिर गिरबान चाक किए, हम शिकस्ता दिल ला हासिल के मुतमन्नी लफ्ज़ खोर थे, हम शायर थे। My name is Ramsha and I come from Pakistan. And other than writing, I teach in a private university. Basically, I take art courses and I'm connected with media and arts department. But other than that, I teach creative writing. All right, that's very interesting because being a writer in Pakistan, the good and actually the best and the worst thing, both is that you are a part of the developing country. And when we say the best thing, it is because you get a sense of direction and you get a sense of responsibility while you know that you're struggling towards some kind of ambition or some kind of destination. But at the same time, it is the worst thing because that struggle has its own black holes. And there are points and there are phases when you feel that maybe after this certain point, I would never move on. And so the struggle and that kind of tiredness, it goes with the best and the worst. So I guess, but that's the beauty of it because it makes you feel worth living. Oh, yeah. So again, I think so. The best thing is its cultural, linguistic, and ethnic diversity. Because other than the national language, Urdu, we have so many other languages, around 70 unofficial languages, and not to forget the regional official languages. For example, Punjabi, Sindhi, Balochi, Barohi, Saraiki, Kashmiri. So we have so much linguistic diversity, and I guess it adds on to the experiences, to the range of different kind of experiences, and same goes with the diversity when it comes to a different kind of landscapes because we have hills, we have land, we have desert. So and the bad thing, I guess, bad thing emerges when we get to see some kind of clash between these diverse forces, and that was very much visible after 2007 and after Afghan war. So I guess that's very much it. So pleasures. Again, I would want to connect it with the previous question. I guess pleasure comes from the sense of responsibility or sense of direction, if not responsibility. When you know that you are producing something which is going to contribute towards something, be it positive or be it negative, you cannot decide at that moment. But I guess it gives you a sense of direction, and that sense of direction is very important for a person like myself. So it certainly has its own pleasures attached to it. But at the same time, when you feel that black hole, and when you feel that you are very much living in that black hole and you do not have kind of a distinctive phase to achieve or a distinctive aim to achieve, it hurts then, and then you realize that you're living in some kind of bubble, and you whatsoever and howsoever you struggle through this phase, you would never come out of it. So that's the difficulty. But at the same time, I think pleasure is much more than difficulty, because we do not have that kind of economic idea attached with writing. We write for, you see, to find our answers, to overcome our internal, well, dilemmas, or maybe some kind of internal conflict. So pleasure is much more, even in its own anxieties.
So maybe I can follow through and ask you about the changes in which your work, you mentioned that your work has undergone changes, or rather you write one way, but the reading of that work has undergone some changes. Do you want to talk a little bit about that transformation?
Yeah, because that was something which I observed later on. I I write, as I spoke in that panel related to politics in Iowa City Book Festival. Basically, you cannot say everything, or it's just a writer's own style to not go for direct, kind of direct narrations or kind of direct things. And at times you use different ways. So maybe while I was writing, I had some kind of different concept of beloved in my mind. And when I penned it down, because I'm a woman and because I'm writing for some kind of freedom, and I guess every writer does that, be it his own freedom or someone else's freedom. So it was interpreted as something of the feminist tendency, and that was something very shocking for me. Because, and maybe it is a good thing, because the society I come from, they need some kind of interpretation that is related to feminism. And I don't kind of break myself away from that interpretation, but that was a shock for me because it has so many other undertones other than feminism. So, yeah, it transformed and evolved in a very interesting way. I guess, all right. So even if you begin with art for art's sake theory, even if you look at a writer's work or at writer um, from formalist perspective, even if you go with some kind of Marxist interpretation, if you go with some kind of political, all literature is political, that kind of perspective, I guess they they all they all indicate towards some kind of duty. So when I talk about sense of responsibility, I guess that is very much of duty, which we create, or um, which we imagine that as writers we have towards society, towards ourselves, or maybe towards an idea that people cannot imagine of. So yes, there are concepts of duties, not only duty, when it comes to writing. But again, it matters on the both ways, reader and the writer. I'm very much talking about reader response theory, which is stupid, but it depends on the both participants how they are going to take this duty. All right, if the priority of the state is to have a society that is well informed, that wants to go for pragmatism and progressive ideas, and if a state wants to have a society which is fully aware of how to reflect upon itself, I guess state should go for some kind of funding for literature, because to that is the only way the state could give to society to reflect upon itself. I am very much conscious of propaganda literature even, but I guess even if we have propaganda literature, we have some kind of counter literature coming in. But of course, the hindrance comes in when it is about economic stability. So if state is funding, the literature whatsoever, whatever kind of literature it is, I guess it is going to have some kind of positive impacts. And forms of literature that could be funded by the state, I guess IWP is one of the best examples of that. Other than being, some kind of diplomatic. Because I can never think about having this kind of residency in Pakistan where I'm hosting 34 cultures, which is a great thing if you see on the surface of it. You get to see so many things in a very short span of time. And in a country like Pakistan, we cannot even imagine about it. Like having this experience with 34 or 40 writers, for instance. So yeah, that's a good way. So I have I have considered so many writers so valuable when it comes to South Asia, because I was taught in English medium school, and I had been spoon fed with many writers from different cultures, from other cultures, not South Asia. So South Asian literature was kind of self-discovery thing. So when it comes to South Asia, I must give some kind of credit to Mirza Asadullah Khan Ghalib. I mean, I cannot move on without mentioning his name. So, and he has a very thin divan, the collection of poetry. So I guess I can mention Mirza Asadullah Khan Ghalib. I can mention Saadat Hasan Manto, because he gives me the idea of, again, the sense of direction in a very small portion of South Asia, in a very small country, coming from, breaking off South Asia, the entire continent. And then I have this influence by this Persian writer, Farrukh Farrukhzad. And I was introduced to Farrukh Farrukhzad by a very good friend of mine, Salman. And I can never shake the influence off after reading the translations even. I was certainly reading different things, because one thing which is very kind of encouraging in Iowa City is the availability of books and films as well. So I was certainly reading different texts. I read Peter Nazareth, because the journal is so much relevant with the political conditions or circumstances we faced in Pakistan. And then I had this Life's is God, Brother by Nazim Hikmat. So different other books, including Toni Morrison's new series of lectures, and Ta-Nehisi Coates' books. What I have been working on is an interesting question, because I have been unable to work on what I had planned previously. I had two manuscripts to edit, and I haven't even opened that file yet. So, and that's not because I was wasting my time. That is because I had so much more to do other than, locking myself up in the room and working on those manuscripts. I had so many experiences to live, and I had so many other things to witness. And I was, of course, taking little notes, because this is what I have been told by the previous participants, that the residency actually happens to you once it is over. So I'm actually waiting for that moment when it is going to happen to me. I guess there are so many things which you want to say, but I think it would be appropriate if I thank IWP for for nominating me, because I am the third woman writer from Pakistan, and I come from a very different familial background, from very different social class, struggling social class. So I guess it is due to thank them for having me here.